to get started on our EP, which has no rules on it, no direction, like barriers necessarily, and it doesn't necessarily like look back at the sound that we started with, so.
The idea was to get out of our regular setting, have everybody be in a different setting, and we could just have a different process as far as writing goes.
We had this idea to rent a cabin and come up here with all of our gear and just play music for a few days and see what could come out of that. I came up here with zero expectations really, and not really any specific goals.
I feel like we hit a groove, and I feel like we found a little bit of a way to actually work together and write together and make progress. And I think we've kind of jumped on a new direction a little bit that I think has a little bit more influence of every single person. It kind of does, yeah.
Does it flow?
Doing each of them 20 count?
It feels like, I don't know, I have to hear it with like a cymbal or something, because it's...
Just like, get sticks that are loud.
These aren't loud enough!
I'm counting it and I hear like 2 extra 4s that make it so it's not like a normal.
I counted the first counts like by 5. It's like 4 or 5.
I think that the writing process is something that's always changing. Probably most bands have like their like different like phases. I think songwriting is something that's kind of fluid, and I think our songwriting is very different from what it was like on Coma Wolf.
It's like a very personal process, and I do it a lot on my own, and it's really difficult once you have, 70% of a song done to then turn it over to the rest of the band and be like, all right, what do you guys think? That part's hard. Probably even more difficult is then like giving free rein on your song that you've got like 70% done, and then like all of a sudden you don't have control over how it comes out. So that's a difficult part for me sometimes. This time around, we've just sat together in a room and kind of actually hashed things out in person, face to face, in a way that like we haven't really done before.
We have a much more keen sense on what it takes to like write with each other, and the commitment level between like writing then and writing now. It's very honed in, and we're all in a very small sense like coming at it as professionals, just trying to be like absolute in why we do and what we're doing, and trying not to waste time. Dude, when I was trying to figure out like 2 different parts with Gary, it's like that same fucking photo. It's all emotional. You're all just like,
That's what's rough about writing.
Syncopate. No, have syncopate. Yep.
Who wants one of these bitches? The most rewarding part about being in a band is getting to hang out with people that you enjoy and creating something collaboratively that I feel like everybody feels good about and that other people can get excited about too. Getting everybody on the same page to come together and create literally anything that everybody's excited about and puts as much effort into as I feel like we put into any of this, it's like super rewarding. Once you get to something and everybody's just like, yeah, all right, that's sick. You know what I mean?
Like, it's a lot of different experiences, and being in a band has many different sides to it. Playing a live show is very different from practicing in our basement. It's very different from writing these songs, which is very different from recording. And then there's touring also, and those are all things that I would never have done in the slightest way if I wasn't in a band.
It's scary sometimes. You van might break down and your transmission's out and you're in like middle of Washington. You can't really like always be prepared for those things. It's a wild ride, and being in a band has opened my eyes to all kinds of people. There's some genuine experiences out there that you can't just find on the street, you know? There's something about the band culture that harbors like, family's a little cheesy, but they don't benefit from like taking you in and helping you. They'll like buy your merch too, and you're like, dude.
I've looked at it really differently just in the past year, as not just like a bunch of like random dudes and musicians that want to make something unique, but we've really tried to focus on being a unit and like spending a lot of time together outside of just like with our instruments in our hands. And I think that's really been beneficial for us because we all just gel so well. And I think that's like solely because we spend so much time together and we know each other really well at this point. Compared to our last EP, I think these songs are more focused on the feel. I think that we took the opportunity to like really kind of soak in our surroundings and just write more emotive songs and like simpler songs and just not get hung up on details that I normally would if I was down in my basement by myself.
When people hear these songs, I don't necessarily know if I want them to know anything specifically. I just hope that they're relatable. You can connect to them in some way, shape, or form.
I think that the overall experience is more than I thought we would get out of it when we planned it.
We kind of had the expectation of what we were going to get done, but we weren't trying to be too hopeful, and I feel like we really surpassed what I thought we were going to get done.
It pays to keep it simple sometimes. And I'm going to leave it at that.